Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and on this channel, I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Today, I got my coat. You guys might remember in the last vlog that I showed you guys, I was freezing my fanny off because it has started to get super cold. It snowed a bunch. We got like an inch of snow, which I know might not seem like a lot for most people. I do not handle cold weather very well. I'm a wimp and I need the appropriate clothing for it. Yesterday, my son actually ended up going to Costco and he FaceTime purchased me this nice warm coat. So I'm super pumped. It has like a fur lining on it. It's got a hood and it's like a gray brown color. Anyways, I like it. Today there are two projects on the agenda. Number one, which you guys are going to actually be seeing first, is going to be a keto pie recipe of some sort. I'm thinking chicken pot pie. We'll see how the freezer treats us. I'm always scared to open this thing, especially when the heat's going. You never know what could have found their way in there overnight. These hoses are. Can you hear that? Hold please. When I turned that on, it didn't make as much noise as I would have hoped. Hopefully this thing's keeping it warm at night. It seemed fine in there. We might have to bust out our heater. Right now, the previous owners had it set up with just like one of those like chicken red lamps. Come on. You're gonna get stuck in there, cat. And anyway, the second thing on my agenda for today, which is actually gonna be in this vlog, we're gonna be trying to make a spicy, sauerkraut. The heck? I drained the hose yesterday. Pretty good sheet there. Before I actually drain this sucker, I need to find out if the hose works. We got our first duck egg yesterday, and that made me so happy. In at night. See if we can. I'm going to try and break it free. So I did actually figure out what the problem was, and it seems to be the first probably 10 to 15 feet of the hose that's connected. I think the hose must have drained that direction and just didn't empty completely, and you can feel it inside. It's frozen. Most of these parts aren't too frozen, so they have water. So I think I'm gonna bundle that up and just put it in the watershed with the heat going in there, and then hopefully within an hour or two we can fill it with the pool. So I'm definitely glad I didn't empty it. It's not the dirtiest water in the world, but it's not the cleanest either. So I definitely want to get it changed out as soon as possible, but some of their own dirty water is better than no water. Another thing that we discovered is that the plastic waters are not good for this. So we're gonna switch into the rubber bowls while we got this cold spell. Make sure they can still get water. Our water catchment is frozen solid as well. I can't get the knob to turn. So we're gonna bucket brigade. I'll be right back. I was kind of able to get the hose up by the ducks running a little bit. It's probably gonna take a very long while to get the duck pool filled up, but we're working on it. Got this filled up enough to be able to water those guys. So let's go dig in the freezer while the duck pond is filling up. Kind of a grab bag. We got some frozen peas, cauliflower, broccoli, and then I found some shrimp just because I want to have shrimp. I found shrimp, so why wouldn't I take it? And then I forgot that I had these little ginger things that I had frozen a while back. Make some ginger tea. So let's go see what we got now. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, and we're gonna make some spicy sauerkraut. I'm gonna actually be making some smaller batches, and the main reason for that is that I'm actually working on putting together some recipes to try and make a recipe ebook, and I'm hoping to get it out in time for Christmas. So doing a little bit of R&D, and we're just gonna create some recipes together. So we're just gonna do half of this head of cabbage, and we'll just throw some stuff together and get it to taste good. This bowl is entirely too large, but it's what I have. So, oops, bring it down here. We are going to ferment half of this head of cabbage. That is not very even half. Whatever. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. The end of this one is kind of yucky. I know a lot of people, when they're fermenting, they cut out the core and like feed it to the pigs or feed it to the chickens. I cut it out simply so that I can cut it up much more finely because the texture of this is very rough, it's very fibrous, but it also is really good for your gut. And it's also really good for, my main reason for including it is that it gets the ferment going really good. This has a lot of, the core has a lot of the prebiotics, pardon me, has a lot of food for the bacteria. So if you include this in the ferment, it's gonna get it kind of going pretty good. So, but it also has the extra fiber, which is, you know, some people say is good for your gut. It's good for your gut if you have a healthy gut. How about that? So I'm cutting these in strips very randomly. That's two. Between, like, you know, 1/4 of an inch, like 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. So we're just gonna cut up this whole cabbage. And then I find that usually when I kind of start to get to the end here, I like to turn it over, because if I keep going, I'm just gonna get these huge chunks at the base here. This is just gonna be, it just turns into be, maybe since they cut off the end of this. Anyways, so I just turn it over and start cutting from another angle so I don't get those big, weird chunks. Okay, so my normal ratio is, I don't have one for making sauerkraut, but since we're working on recipe development here, I'm gonna actually weigh this. I go by the potato chip method normally when I'm making a kraut. I do however much salt I put in there makes it taste like a potato chip, and that's kind of how I do it. But I know we are research and development here, so we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna weigh this out. Basically, you wanna do a 2% ratio. That's what I usually do. So the best way to do it is actually to measure it or to weigh it before you cut it up. We have 386 grams of cabbage. So we're gonna put in about 8 grams of salt. So I'm gonna keep track of this off camera, and we're gonna end up putting in about a 2% ratio of the finished product. So we're just gonna kind of throw stuff in a jar, and then it'll be in the book, I guess. Into our cabbage. That's it. I don't really want to put anything else in there, so we're just gonna go ahead and add our salt to it. That was a lot less than I expected. I put in way more than I needed. All right, so with this, we're just gonna massage it for a couple minutes, not even a couple minutes. We're just gonna kind of squeeze it. First, we're gonna mix it up. I wanna make sure there's enough salt. Grab a little piece here. Oh yeah, no, I put too much salt. Well, it'll just be kind of a salty kraut. Okay. So I'm just gonna kind of squeeze it a little bit. This is kind of my technique. I know a lot of people like to beat it to death. I don't, and it's a waste of my energy. And it also makes for a soggier kraut. So I just kind of make sure that the salt is penetrating through, sorry for the word, the skin of this to kind of start pulling out the moisture. And really that's it. We're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna cover this with a tea towel, and I'm going to just set it aside for a couple hours. I mean, there's not really a time limit whenever it starts to get juicy enough that you can actually pack it down. So I mean, krauts are super easy and super customizable. You can add spices to it. You can add, you can add like heat spices. You can add just regular spices. So I'll make sure that you guys are staying tuned. We're gonna be doing tons of playing around with stuff. I'm gonna try and also keep you guys posted as well on Instagram over there. You can follow me over there on Instagram, and I'm gonna be posting pictures, some updates that are not gonna be necessarily included in the vlog, but make sure you guys check it out. I will link my Instagram down below. I'm trying to be more active on there, but right now it kind of sucks. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I hope that you will consider giving it a thumbs up and following along for the journey of me trying to come up with recipes that I can put into an ebook for you guys to enjoy. If you guys are new around here, we just moved to our 30-acre homestead in southern Missouri, and I'm sharing with you all the things that we're doing to turn our home into a homestead. Most of that's here in the kitchen with canning, freezing, hydrating, and of course fermenting. If all that sounds awesome, click this button right here. This is the subscribe button, so it tells YouTube you want to come back here and you can follow along for all the fermenting fun. Up here is a video that Mr. Google Pants thinks that you're going to enjoy. Over here is one of my last fermenting videos, and up here is going to be my fermenting playlist. It's all the awesome things that I've fermented since I started this channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.